name is Seth Griffin, and on this night, I review the supernatural soap opera, Dark Shadows. I'm going to do a review on one of my favorite television shows from the 60s, Dark Shadows. No, I wasn't around back in the 60s, even though I may look that old. Sorry. Now, Dark Shadows was first introduced to me by my dad about almost 20 years ago. That was about 16 years ago. God, I'm old. Well, what happened was, he was talking about this television show for like forever as I've grown up. You know, how scary the theme music was, how creepy Collinwood was. We'll get to that in a minute. But basically, it came on the Sci-Fi Channel toward the start of the new century. He tried to get me to watch it, and I wasn't interested in it. Or so I told him. I was like, nah, that's from the 60s, that's lame. Yeah, we all said lame back then. So, I walked away from the TV. Little did he know I was looking back at it. I was like, that's actually pretty cool, but I can't let him know that. So, he'd be watching the show. I'd be peeking around the corner trying to get a glimpse of the show. And eventually I just said, fuck it, I'm going there and sit down and watch it with him. They aired like 2 or 3 episodes per day on Sci-Fi Channel. They're like 30 minutes apiece, counting commercials. And I just fell in love with it. Now, the synopsis of the show, the creator is Dan Curtis. And the story goes on how he came up with the idea is he had a dream one night. He dreamed of a woman going to a strange place that she felt would kind of open up her life to her. You know, it was gonna answer some questions that she's got, and he pitched the idea for the show to ABC. ABC contracted Art Wallace to, create the story. And it was a great show. For the first 200 episodes, it was okay. But, like some shows, there comes along a guest character that is not intended to be on the show permanently, much less dethrone the main cast. Well, the same thing happened with Dark Shadows. So, around the 200th, I want to say the 215th episode or so, these 2 guys are living in Collinwood. One of them's name is Willie Loomis. Willie Loomis is a complete asshole. And all he wants to do is be a womanizer, steal, get in fights, get drunk. Okay, so he's not all bad. He gets drunk. That's another thing that I want to get to. It's the alcohol in this show. But I digress. Here we go. Willie Loomis is obsessed with this portrait in the foyer. The portrait is of a man holding a cane like this. He's got a ring on his finger. It's a black onyx ring. And he is obsessed with finding the jewelry that this person is wearing in the portrait. So he's asking all the people in the show about the burial sites, what happened to the wealth, and it just so happens that the cemetery is just like right down the street, So he inadvertently opens up a secret chamber, and he finds a coffin in there with chains on it, and of course he just has to look. But what he finds is Barnabas Collins, who is a vampire. And here's where the show gets really, really interesting. Because if memory serves, there wasn't any supernatural elements to the show until this happened. I want to say Quentin was a werewolf at one point, but I'm not sure. But the Wikipedia says there was no supernatural elements in the check my camera in the show until Barnabas Collins came along. So the show drastically makes a turn toward the supernatural, and it really works. Willie Loomis, like I said, was a womanizer and a complete jerk until he met Barnabas. And he completely changed. It takes some stuff from Dracula, from Bram Stoker's Dracula. And without giving away too much, there are some scenes of a woman being drawn to Barnabas. But I don't want to give away too much. So here's some information for you. A lot of famous characters in there. Barnabas Collins is played by Jonathan Fred. He did a lot of, I want to say, William Shakespeare type plays. There was Kate Jackson, who looks, oh my god, gorgeous in this show. And it was just an amazing experience. Now, I've never seen all 1,225 episodes, I believe is what it is. And the whole series is in a box about like this, and it's like $300. So I'm going to get that eventually. I do have a collection of like 10 DVD sets, so I got like 1,000 episodes to watch right now as it is. So, yeah. I'm back into watching Dark Shadows. But to share some of the memories I have of the show, and I wasn't a child when I was watching this, is it gave me and my dad something to do together at night when there wasn't a whole lot else to do. And I remember us sitting there watching that show, and I remember a lot of the things that were on my mind during that time, and it takes you back. Now, for the show itself, some of my favorite parts of the show is the music. Let's start with the music. The music is really creepy, but it's simple. You know, there's nothing like the Dark Shadows theme song. And if you're watching this, then you saw the intro, so that's the intro song. The one where I'm talking all monotone is, that's part of the intro, and during that theme, you're usually given the synopsis of what's going to happen in the show over this episode. Also, the scenery. The scenery was just amazing, considering that Collinwood, the house you see is just an actual house, but the actual set is not that big. You have the drawing room, you have the foyer, you have a generic bedroom, which they seem to film all of the bedroom scenes in. Then you have the cemetery, which is really cool, and you had the Blue Whale, which is a bar. Now, I mentioned the alcohol. It seems like there's always a scene where Roger Collins walks up to the bar, grabs him some sherry or some brandy or whatever the hell he's drinking, pours him a drink, and then goes and sits on the couch and does whatever. There's always an excuse to drink in the show, which is pretty fucking amazing. Now, this is something that most people probably don't look at, but I do, and it grabs my imagination. When I was a kid, I loved like the Garfield Halloween special, so my favorite kind of Halloween and horror movies and stuff like that is all about imagination. It's bad quality camera, and you're left having to wonder and come up with it on your own, what they're seeing or whatever. So I love the scenes in Dark Shadows when you see a character walk to a window and they look out the window and you can't see anything. All you're seeing is their little cutout trees, you know, it's like cardboard cutout trees, and they're kind of swaying back and forth, and all you see is their reaction to what they're seeing. So you don't see the vampire standing down there in the yard or whatever watching them. All you see is their reaction. You have to use your imagination, and that's why I love this show. Also, the cemetery is one of my favorite settings because they have a habit in Dark Shadows of shooting the scene through like a branch or a tree, so it kind of gives the whole scene a 3D look. You know, it's really creepy watching someone walk, and then you have the camera behind a tree, and you kind of see them cut in and out. It's great camera work. This is the 60s. So that's one of my favorite parts of the show is just the scenery, the camera work, the windows. I prefer the black and white episodes. When it got to color, it just didn't look as creepy to me. And there's also one more part, the night scenes. When the camera is aimed up at the moon or the moonlight, and it's really choppy and grainy, that looks so cool to me. And it's like so creepy. It's like classic horror. Like, you know, Dracula 1931 is a good comparable video quality. And it's just a great series on a whole. As a whole, I'm sorry. Like I said, it's an improv. I don't have a script or anything written down. So let me set the mood for watching Dark Shadows, because you can't just walk in there and have every light in the house on, your dishwasher going, and all this kind of crap going while you're trying to watch this show. So let me tell you what you need to do. First off, you need to, if it's raining outside, you live near a beach, that is perfect. Crack that door open a little bit if you got access to the sounds of the waves and everything. If it's raining, that's also great. Just crack the door just a little bit so you can hear it. Next thing you want to do, you want to have every light in the room, in the immediate area of the house that you're watching it in, off. Maybe a lamp. If you got a candle or a chandelier, even better. That perfectly sets the tone. And the last thing, some alcohol. No, you can't go in there and drink beer and watch Dark Shadows. Oh, no, my friend. You need liquor. I'm talking high quality shit. Whiskey, bourbon, tequila, but if you got some brandy or some wine, that's great. And if you got a female that you're cuddling up with, guarantee you she will appreciate the setting and the mood that you set up for if you want to watch Dark Shadows with your lady. It's a fantastic show, guys. I hope you guys give it a chance and, you know, watch it. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you weren't born yet. I wasn't born yet during that time. But still, it's an awesome series. Check out some clips here on YouTube. The whole set's like $300 on Amazon and eBay. And that's it. You guys have a great one. Peace and say my name. We will see you next time.